Hi, I'm Theodore Henry, welcoming you to today's Jamaica Magazine. You know, we might be living in a new day, plagued with a novel virus, COVID-19, but we here are seeing joint efforts to fight its spread. Commitment from our government and commitment from the Jamaica Information Service. We're still fighting to keep you in the know, and being in the know starts right now.
An important message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. What to do if you think you have been exposed or are experiencing signs and symptoms of COVID-19. Immediately call 888-1-LOVE. That's 888-663-5683. In addition, you should stay at home. Don't go to work, school, or any public place. Do not use public transport, and avoid visitors to your home. You may need to do this for up to 14 days to reduce the spread of the infection. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
While our government fights to prepare a better tomorrow, it has given a commitment to keep us in the loop with what's happening and how every move will impact you. Here's the latest.
There are now 63 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Jamaica, which means that we have had 4 additional positive cases since the last announcement. Those 4 cases are a 48-year-old female, a 26-year-old female, a 26-year-old male, and a 48-year-old female. So that's 3 females and 1 male, ages 48, 26, 26, and 48. The new cases, all of whom are contacts of a confirmed case from Kingston and St. Andrew, brings to 30 the number of imported cases, 22 the number of import-related cases, and 11 the number of cases under investigation. The average age of the confirmed patients is 49 years, ranging from a minimum age of 12 to a maximum age of 87 years, with the median age being 50. Of the 63 confirmed cases, 29 are females and 34 are males. 3 patients have unfortunately died, while 9 have fully recovered and therefore have been released. The ministry has launched its COVID-19 quarantine portal, which can be accessed at quarantine, that's QUARANTINE.moh.gov.jm. The portal provides individuals the chance to do a COVID-19 self-assessment and employers the opportunity to fact-check the quarantine status of their employees. The efforts at addressing the challenge of COVID-19 continues, and the need for us to adopt an all-of-society approach. The public-private partnership involving private doctors in their private practices, now assuming or who will assume shortly the responsibility of treating with particular patients or patients who have chronic hypertension or diabetes and would normally access those services through our health centers or public health centers. The ministry is now officially launching the public-private partnership to manage the care of persons with comorbid conditions, including diabetes and chronic hypertension, who utilize the public health system. The goal is to reduce the number of persons who have to come into our clinics, thus helping to alleviate the demand on the public health system as we manage the existing challenge, but also importantly as we prepare for a possible surge in cases once we have community spread, which we anticipate. It means that those persons who have been identified as controlled patients will be now outsourced to private practitioners so that they can get their medication and any required care, thus neutralizing the crowding effect that would normally take place in the health centers. The expression of interest is now launched, and those private practitioners who are interested should visit the ministry's website to indicate their interest, to determine what the criteria are. And I believe we will also take out ads in the public media, in the newspapers, to provide further information. Cabinet approved the use of the National Indoor Stadium as a field hospital that can cater to up to 72 beds. This facility is a collaboration between the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the Ministry of Sports, Culture, Gender, and I think there may be one or two other titles, and Entertainment, Minister Babsy Grange. We have started the work to retrofit the facility, that is the National Indoor Stadium, which would complete, when completed, would have 72 beds, monitors, and other equipment. That work is being spearheaded by the Jamaica Defence Force. We're currently in the process of sensitizing staff, including on the subject of fit shifting if the need arises. The goal is to have only those who are mildly affected by COVID-19 be treated at that facility, and we anticipate that the facility will be up and ready in the coming weeks, in 2 to 3 weeks. It is to take a budget to complete this process of about 180 million Jamaican dollars, including the cost of personal protective equipment. We have been able to secure personal protective equipment, and this is an ongoing process to ensure that our frontline staff in the public health system can carry out their responsibilities in a way that reassures them of their own safety. We are, however, in keeping with promoting the partnership with the private sector and private practitioners. We are signing an MOU with the MAJ to provide 100,000 N95 masks to outfit our private practitioners, or to support the preparedness and the work of our private practitioners. It is important for us that they remain active and that they see this attempt in the public sector to deal with this challenge as part of their challenge. I should also mention, in regards to the M95 mask, that we recognize that there's a supply shortage, and have therefore we have invested some $2.2 million to secure these masks. We just had some 500,000 arrive in the island recently, and it is from that supply that we're making a 100,000 donation, and we expect additional supplies to come. Another partnership is the establishment and use of UWI final year medical students in our call centers to respond to the concerns that the public will raise around COVID-19. We wish to formally welcome some 80 medical students who are now manning the Ministry of Health and Wellness call center to the joint effort to beat the COVID-19 in Jamaica. Their addition to the team means that we are in a position to better respond to the needs of Jamaicans who will call in, have been calling in, and sometimes, because of the numbers of calls each day, each hour, we do get a little backlog. A further partnership that I am pleased to announce is one with Andrews Memorial Hospital. We are happy to announce that we now have a formal agreement with Andrews Memorial Hospital. The hospital will now serve as an overflow ward for the Kingston Public Hospital. That ward will host some 32 beds for the management of COVID-19 patients. Another ward has been reassigned to manage severe respiratory illness, SARI cases. This has reduced the bed capacity of the internal medicine department from 8 wards to 6. The additional beds at Andrews will be used for the management of non-COVID-19 medical patients, right? Non-COVID-19 medical patients who require inpatient care. And this will reduce the overcrowding on the medical wards at KPH. Jamaica has done fairly well in managing this process to date. I take absolutely no credit for it. I think it really resides in the resilience of our public health infrastructure despite limited resources, in the expertise that we have been able to train and the experience that we have had. The primary healthcare workers, the nurses in the field, their support team doing the contact tracing have done an absolutely phenomenal job, and they deserve all the recognition and accolades. So I want to take the World Health Day just to recognize them and just to remind them that we are here to give them support. The government is here to give them support, and we will continue to give that support.
How can we assist people who are blind and visually impaired during this novel coronavirus COVID-19 period? There are simple ways to help them navigate our streets and sidewalks, but many people are worried about social distancing. Not to worry, you can simply guide them with the sound of your voice, walking beside or in front of them. Let your voice be the helping hand you give them. For information on how to assist persons with disabilities, contact the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities at 876-926-9376 or 876-618-1133. Remember to look out for the blind and visually impaired, not only today, but every day.
So with COVID-19 permeating the media, I'm sure you've been hearing this word a lot: quarantine. By now you know that it's in full effect in many countries across the world, but as usual, Jamaica Magazine leaves nothing up to assumption. So here's all you need to know about this public health tool.
The purpose of quarantine is to closely monitor patients so that symptoms can be picked up early and the appropriate measures taken.
This tool of public health, quarantine, works by separating and restricting the movement of people who may have been exposed to a contagious disease to see if they become sick. As many countries, and eventually Jamaica, began to grapple with the introduction of a new strain of the coronavirus called COVID-19, quarantine has been one of the measures implemented. In Jamaica, it begins at our ports of entry. Government assessed the risks and identified several countries that posed the greatest risk to introducing the virus on the island through travel from their citizens or Jamaicans in the diaspora. Travel was restricted, and those granted landing privileges were assessed and determined if they needed to be quarantined. Persons are generally placed in quarantine for the established incubation period of the particular disease. As it relates to COVID-19, that's 14 days.
When we place persons in quarantine, what we want to do is to monitor on a daily basis and to ensure that if there are any symptoms that are developing, we pick it up early before the person reach to a point where they are coughing or sneezing and are more likely to be able to spread the virus.
There are, in general, two ways in which persons can be quarantined: in a government facility or at home.
The process of quarantine persons at home is not a simple one that we just send persons home. The homes are investigated by the health department. We ensure that there is adequate space for the person to remain far away from other persons, and we ensure that the person is educated as to how it is that they conduct themselves, how it is that they move around. We ensure that the family is also educated, and then the health department checks on this patient on a daily basis. Now that check may mean that the person may be given a thermometer and they're asked to check their temperatures, and they're given a log that they monitor their symptoms, and this is reviewed by the health department on a daily basis. If necessary, the health department visits the home on a daily basis as well. So we restrict persons who are in quarantine from going outside of their homes. And essentially in a home, what you really need is just a room and an adjoining bathroom. The general precautions in terms of making sure that you keep your distance, 3 feet is what we recommend. The person who is at home who of course does not want to spread any possible thing that they may have to their relatives will take the necessary precautions. In terms of, some of them may wear a mask, okay, to prevent, if they're talking to their relatives or friends, they may choose to wear a mask. The washing of hands is very, very important, because any kind of droplets that get on your hand, you can transfer to your face, and you can therefore get it into your air passages or into the eyes and cause an infection. So the washing of hands, making sure that you have that facility, and also for hand sanitization, if you don't wash immediately, that is also recommended.
As at March 17, there are 4 government quarantine facilities across the island.
Essentially, for a quarantine facility, what we really need is that the person is separated from other persons and there is minimum contact.
When persons are quarantined at one of these national facilities, they are kept in a room and monitored daily by members of a healthcare team. They are fed and their daily needs met during the quarantine period. In some cases, a third form of quarantine may be required, the quarantine of an entire community. For instance, approximately 12,000 residents of 7 and 8 miles in Bull Bay St. Andrew are now under quarantine, following news there was community spread leading from the first person to test positive for the novel coronavirus in Jamaica. Like home and self-quarantine, residents are required to be quarantined in their homes for 14 days. They are required to remain inside their houses and not wander about in the community unless necessary. They must remain within the mapped-out boundaries of the community, which are now manned by the security forces. During the period, government will deliver care packages to the residents, which include food, water, and in some cases, medicine. They are also educated on what is happening to them, what to expect, and how to prevent the situation from escalating. Whether persons are in home or government facility quarantine, it is important that they abide by the quarantine guidelines, maintain a positive attitude, and contact the Ministry of Health and Wellness COVID-19 helplines if someone in the household gets sick.
To properly carry out a hand rub, apply a palmful of the product in your cupped hand, covering all surfaces. Rub your hands palm to palm. Rub your right palm over the back of your left hand with interlaced fingers and vice versa. Rub your hands palm to palm with fingers interlaced. Rub the back of your fingers to opposing palms with fingers interlocked. Rotationally rub backwards and forwards the clasped fingers of your right hand in your left palm and vice versa. Once your hands are dry, they are now safe.
One important way to help the fight against coronavirus is having access to potable water. In fact, this is generally important for good health at all times. That's why long before COVID-19 became a hot topic globally, the Ministry of Local Government has been hard at work, establishing water shops across Jamaica, giving residents that temporary fix while working on permanent ways to keep our pipes on. This now means that one more community is armed with the means to protect themselves. Here's a look.
You see, sir, no water. This is what I've got to put up with.
We have responded in a way to try to get water to communities. While these solutions are not the answer to the problems, but at least we are making an attempt to get water.
This water shop ground was broken in 2016, and it actually was brought into operation November 16, 2017. This water shop presently serves approximately 60 people per week and dispense about 8,000 gallons of water on a weekly basis.
The Pennant's Water Shop is the first such facility to be established in the country. More than 3 years later, the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development has commissioned into service over 7 water shops across the island. Parishes such as St. Elizabeth, Clarendon, Manchester and Portland are happy to have unlimited access to potable water. These water shops have quenched the thirsts of many residents who do not have the precious commodity flowing through their taps.
And we provided this water free of cost.
Well, I've got 2 tanks. I don't drink the tank water. My husband, sometimes we went on the road to get water, but since this water is here, we fetch the water from here for drinking. That's how we get water.
Pennants is one of these rural communities, largely farming, with a population of over 3,000 people. There are a lot of people here, of course, and one of the challenges we have is lack of running water. The district is not adequately served by any water system. There was once upon a time that water came from the northern side of the parish, but because of the increase in population, we get water here just every now and again, a little trickle. It's really rainwater that suffices the citizens and the river. There's a river nearby that they also use for washing and other purposes.
I appreciate it that the water shop is here. We can come and catch water when we want, drink water.
So at this point in time, I think that this is probably the only reliable source of potable water for the citizens of Pennants and the surrounding communities. It's Crooked River, Prospect, Main Ridge, Mullet Hall, Dank Savoy, Summerfield, Beckford Crawl, Iron Gate, Blackwoods. In fact, almost all the communities surrounding Pennants, we have residents using this water shop. This water is bought from the NWC system. It's treated water, and then when it comes here, it's again treated. So it's chlorinated from the NWC system, and then it is filtered here. So what you have is proper drinking water being dispensed at this facility.
Tastes good because you cannot taste no chlorine in it. It's just crystal clear and drink very light.
I drink this water and I don't put it on the fridge. I just catch it, put it down, and I just drink when I want water to drink. It tastes good.
Most people really appreciate the services being offered here. Of course, they will also tell you that they would prefer for the water to be come directly to their homes, and they are willing to pay for it. So this water shop really wasn't intended to be the end in itself. The long-term plan, of course, is to have a proper water source and water piped to the individual homes, wherein it is metered and paid for.
I'm Babsy Grange, Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. And I'm here to announce Telethon Jamaica, Together We Stand. More than 1 million people across the world have been infected with COVID-19. We pray for the speedy recovery of those who are ill, and we thank the healthcare workers. We can all help to stop the spread of COVID-19. Keep sanitizing and stay home. Telethon Jamaica, Together We Stand. Sunday, April 12th. Across online platforms, 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. This is to purchase personal protective gear and equipment for healthcare workers to fight this dreaded virus.
To make a donation, visit jatogetherwestand.com or call 1-866-228-8393 or +44 0808 189 6147.
Together we stand.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security has been working assiduously to help to contain the spread of the dreaded coronavirus COVID-19. And I believe that it is my duty as Minister to encourage employers and business operators to put the proper mechanisms in place to protect workers and customers and themselves. Workers are the most important part of any organization, and they must be given all the necessary information, tools that they require to ensure that they can utilize the best safety and health practices. During this period, workers might be required to be quarantined or isolated for an extended period. In these instances, we are recommending to our employers that you exercise discretion beyond the provision of the Holiday with Pay Act 1974. We are also imploring employers to consider making use of the provisions under the Flexi Work Arrangement 2014 in order to ensure that where possible, staff can work from home, creating far less risk factors. I believe that as a nation, we have a responsibility to work together for a healthy and safe work environment.
So by now, it must have hit, and maybe hit hard. This virus is real, and it's happening, and many people around the world are getting infected. If you or someone you know has contracted COVID-19, there are some simple home care practices that you can enforce to help fight and beat this illness. First, prevent the spread of further infection in your household, and you can do that by following these methods. Number 1, identify surfaces touched frequently and clean and disinfect them frequently. Number 2, clean your hands often with soap and water or an alcohol-based hand rub. Number 3, if you are infected, isolate yourself from others in the household and contact the medical authorities. Number 4, wear a mask if you are displaying symptoms. And number 5, do not share toiletries. To help you fight the virus, here are some other points. Number 1, if you are advised by health experts to self-isolate at home, please follow their advice. Number 2, drink plenty of fluids. Number 3, eat nutritiously and particularly pay attention to nutrients such as vitamin C, which helps to boost your immune system. And number 4, get sufficient rest. Remember, if it worsens, our committed healthcare workers, fueled by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, are ready to join you in the fight. Let us all play our part because we have to win and keep Jamaica on track to becoming the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. That's all the information we prepared for you today, but the words and the works never stop, so keep up to date with the JIS by visiting our website and follow us on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. Today's show is also this close to your fingertips. Just go on over to our YouTube channel. From all of us here at the JIS, be safe and have a great day. I'm Theodore Henry. Catch us again tomorrow.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.